This definitely has to be my favorite part of this knockoff right here because they completely missed the point. Hey everyone, Chris Gonzalez here with the Movement Training Company, where it is my job to help prepare outdoor enthusiasts to adventure forever. Today we're looking at the Lefflow Barefoot Minimalist shoe, a $25 knockoff shoe of a very familiar Barefoot shoe, Zero Shoes. So this is the Zero Speed Force. You can see these are shockingly similar enough where I get confused when I go to grab them outside sometimes. It also has a little bit of Prio in it if you look more at the toe box, and the grip is more comparable, I guess, to the Prio because it doesn't have lugs like the Speed Force. It's got a touch of HFS in there as well, but ultimately, stylistically at least, it's very much like the Speed Force. Also, as far as flexibility goes, it's closer to the HFS than to the Prio. But we're gonna go into our shut test, look at this step by step, section by section, and see if it's actually worth $25. All right, first things first, S is for sole. And this sole, the positive is, it is incredibly flexible. Look at this, you can rotate it, you can twist it, you can pinch it either direction. I love how thin and flexible this is. Note, I've already removed the insole, so that's what these features are on. So it's already a lot more flexible, well, I'll say moderately more flexible than the Speed Force or the HFS. Definitely more flexible than the Prio, so that's a big positive. However, when you start feeling this sole, this is like that rubbery plastic foam that you get on costume shoes. At least that's what it feels like to me. So my big concern was gonna be longevity. And in the couple of weeks that I've just been testing these out, you can already see my wear pattern right here. It's already easily half the thickness of the areas that I don't load as much. And for 2 weeks, that is crazy to me. That is a big red flag as far as longevity goes, again, depending on your usage, which we'll talk about later. But as far as an active shoe, boy, I don't want it wearing out in 2 weeks. That's absurd. I hate to think in like 2 months, these are gonna be bowling shoes essentially is my prediction, because you can already see these wear patterns anywhere I put weight. This texture is already dropping down, so really not a fan of the longevity of this, because when you pay $25 for a shoe, you get $25 material, and it's already showing that wear. So yes, it's thin and flexible. Yes, it bends nicely. Yes, it has a great ground feel, but is it gonna last? Already it's looking like absolutely not. It's not going to last. So that is S for sole. Next, H for heel. Like I said, I removed the insole because with the insole, it does not pass my zero drop test. The heel is definitely raised up. You can see there's a little bit of curvature for the arch, nothing major, but it's there. It's not a perfectly flat shoe like it claims to be. So I tossed the insole on basically all of my shoes anyway, even the Zero shoes. And so this one is especially important if heel drop is important to you, because again, this is raised a bit higher. I misplaced my caliper, probably my children, and so I can't tell you the exact thickness, but I'll drop that down in the notes below once I get that taken care of. So if you keep these in, it does not pass the heel test. If you take them out, it does pass the heel test and it becomes zero drop. Now, quick caveat, maybe there's some shoe science where you start out with a thicker heel and it compresses because of weight distribution and all that sort of stuff and it becomes zero drop. I don't know, I'm not a shoe scientist. I don't think that's even a thing. But as far as my initial testing, my observations, my experience so far, not zero drop with the insole. All right, next, U for upper, and this has my favorite faux pas, if you will, in it, which we'll get to in a second. I love the reflective. I kind of like that they copied that from Zero shoes. It's really nice when you're out at dusk to have your feet very clearly seen. They have that thoroughly dialed in. Now, this is what's hilarious to me. They saw the Zero shoes Huarache style straps, so they put them there. However, they sewed them. So right through here, they're sewn. So the whole purpose of the Huarache style strap is so that your laces pull on it, and then that helps pull these straps, which changes how the base fits around your foot. So you can really customize that pretty specifically. They made the style the same, but they sewed it right here. So when you pull, absolutely nothing happens to the lower portion of the strap. These are 100% cosmetic because they're just sewn right in. These are now just glorified lace holes. So whoever was in charge of knocking these off totally missed the point. or maybe that was how they got away with it. I don't know. But all that is to say, these Huarache style straps are not Huarache style straps. They are cosmetic, and they're just solely there to imitate the look of Xero shoes. As far as cushioning on the top goes, the outer cushioning is more like the Prio, so it's a little bit more of a thick cushion versus a really thin cushion like in the Speed Force or HFS. So if you like a little extra padding, a little extra cushioning, great. It feels actually pretty comfortable on my foot, so totally fine with that. However, the build quality up top, things are already fraying a decent amount. You can see a big chunk over here. So as far as longevity goes, hey, you spend $20 on a shoe, you're gonna get $20 material. So I do like these loops. They help you pull them on. They have this back loop like most of the Xeros, but they have a front loop also, which you don't typically get on Xero shoes. As far as breathability goes, they breathe fairly well. Nothing extraordinarily different than most other minimalist shoes. So I'd say that's a solid fine. It's not life-changing. Of course, they like to say, oh, we have all this extra breathability. It's like any other canvasy shoe. So that is a look at the upper. Hey, real quick, if you have a functioning mouse or trackpad, go ahead and go right down here and click that subscribe button for me, because that's what lets me buy a ridiculous amount of shoes and tell you all about them. Thanks so much, and let's get back to it. Lastly, we have toe box, and this is where it absolutely does not pass because I wear a size 10.5. So I bought the 10/11 because they do whole sizes and they're kind of merged the way they do it. So in the 10/11, I thought, oh, if it's acceptable for all the way to 11, me as a 10.5, this is gonna be perfect. This toe box is tight, especially when you have the insole in, you toss this like I do, it feels a little better, but I definitely don't like how tight it feels on the outside, and even my big toe bumps up a little bit at the tip as well. But especially on those two lateral toes, it's really crunching up, even though I did their 0.3 to 0.6 increase in size that they recommend. I squarely landed in the low end of the size chart for this 10/11, and it did not work well for me. So me being me, I went and bought the next size up. So these are the next size up. They're an 11/12, and my feet swim in them, especially because, again, I need to remove the insole. That way it's zero drop, but then I'm really swimming in them. I have like a good full finger width at the very tip, and it just feels really loose and insecure. So unless I'm kind of wearing it to walk around as a casual shoe, these aren't gonna work well. Like, I'm fine wearing them as a glorified slipper if I'm going to the grocery store, but if I'm trying to do something active, if I'm weightlifting or walking, or they say hiking in these, which we'll talk about in a minute, it's just a solid no-go for me because I can't get the sizing exactly right. Now, even other people who found this size right still also confirmed, hey, this toe box is not big enough at all. So toe box, I'm sorry, but they do not get a pass. They get a fail for T toe box in our shut test, and that's a really, really essential part if you're claiming to be a minimalist shoe, because these, in that case, absolutely are not. That being said, if you're just transitioning to minimalist shoes, maybe it's an okay transition from the toe box standpoint because you're used to being super crunched, so now they're only gonna be moderately crunched. Or if you are just looking for a shoe to wear to the grocery store, then you could go a whole size up and have a little bit more room on the toes, but then just up here, you're not getting the same mechanics of walking. So again, casual shoe, not a big deal if you're just hanging out in it, but as soon as you wanna be active, I'm gonna say toss them. So bottom line, what do I think of the Lefflow Barefoot Minimalist shoe? Not a fan. I really wanted to like these as a cheap option for people who just straight up can't afford the more expensive shoes, but the build quality is not there. These materials are wearing out already for me. The shut test was not met. Biggest problem being this toe box. It just does not meet the criteria of a minimalist shoe. That being said, if you're transitioning to minimalist shoes and you're just getting used to a wider toe box, this is gonna be a little wider than a lot of your shoes. So maybe you could get them for that purpose. Or now these are gonna become my throw these on when I need to go out in the yard and pick up dog poop or water, the plants or whatever. So I don't ruin my nicer shoes, but I still have something that's trending toward the neighborhood of being a minimalist shoe, but not quite there. So if you only have 20 bucks to spend and you have no other options, these could be a Band-Aid fix, if you will. But if you're not in that situation, if you want something that's going to last, if you want something that's truly a minimalist shoe, go for the real deal, go for the originals, go for Zero shoes. Well, that's it for this video. Thanks so much for watching. If you got anything out of this, hit that subscribe button for me down there. And you can also watch reviews on all these other different shoes. And let me know your experiences. If you've given this a try, if it worked great for you, if your use and your gait didn't wear these out as quickly as I did, let me know in the comments, because hey, everyone wears things a little differently. Everyone's usage is a little bit different too. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next time.